Hey, welcome back to The Recap, the video podcast ministry of First Baptist Kettering, where we discuss topics such as our vision, our values, and our sermons from week to week. The Recap exists to assist you and help us grow in our relationship with Christ and help you be transformed by Jesus. So with that, let's get started. Hey, today, so excited to have a special guest with us on The Recap. This is Miss Stephanie Noel, our kids ministry coordinator here at the Sugar Creek campus. We have had a great summer so far. We've got a couple more weeks left, but I really wanted to sit down with Stephanie today and have a conversation with you about how important is summer in the life of our church, and what are the highlights of the summer that you've seen?
Wow. Well, we've been pretty busy so far, coming back from not being in church and not having a summer last year too much. Now
Right.
we're back full throttle, if you ask me, with our Vacation Bible School and camp. So the best part of the summer is being able to go to camp with kids. We went to Cedarville University with CentriKid, and I know you guys went to Fuge, so that was super fun for you guys. But CentriKid, we took 40 people, so we had, let's see, I think we had like 32 kids, and the rest were leaders. And the point of camp is to get together and learn about Jesus and be transformed at camp. So because there's a lot that goes on, we wear them down.
That's right.
We wear them down, but then we do it where we can develop more deeper relationships with each other and learning who Christ is. So it was a great week. Pastor David went with us.
Yeah.
And then Amy from Eastmont, she also went. So I think there was 5 Eastmont kids that went. So it was a great week. Weather was pretty good. So it was a lot of just doing tracks and Bible time. Bible time is my favorite. Craft time, worship. And then we also had the camp pastor spoke to us every night. So
they have a worship service at night. You're exhausted throughout the day. Usually by Wednesday, we call it the Wednesday wall at camp.
Yeah,
you're pretty exhausted. You're thinking, oh my gosh, I can't make it till Friday. And then before you know it, Friday comes. What happens on the last day of camp? Is there, for me, usually a youth camp, we're on the way home from somewhere. We travel. We went to Ridgecrest this year with the students. We've been there a few years in North Carolina. It's a long ride home. It's about 8 hours to come back, and you have a lot of time to think in the bus if you're coming back with students. And there's this immense amount of letdown when everybody goes home, right? You've been amped up for so long. Your adrenaline's running. I mean, I just have to make it, but you're making it in a different way. By the time you get to Friday, there's so much joy for the leaders. Even though you're exhausted, you're excited about what God has done. So for CentriKid, parents come get them?
Yeah, they drop off at Cedarville, and they pick up on Friday. So we do a big closing at the end on Friday, and then the parents pick up. So they are super exhausted. Of course they are, but they are super excited to see their moms and dads. A lot of them are experiencing, for the very first time, staying away from their parents. And we had a couple struggle throughout the week, but we got them through it. But there's a lot of growth.
There is.
Just not only spiritually, but also just in their maturity of how they can make it. They can make their own beds. They can brush their teeth without being told. Like, there are things that they learn that they depend on their parents for a lot, but we kind of encourage them, you're going to do this on your own. So we're going to push you, but you're going to be pushed to the max. And when they see their parents, they're very joyful. And within the hour of being home from camp, I get several texts from parents saying they are dead tired. They wouldn't stop talking all the way home from Cedarville. Now they're passed out on the couch for the next 8 hours.
I know one went to bed when he got home at like 5 o'clock and slept until the next day.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't hear from him. He was out.
There's a lot of recovery.
And for us too, right? We come home. But
Yeah.
the recovery, I think, we know that Sunday's coming. And we
Yeah.
get to see their faces again. We get to see the smiles on them, and hopefully our eyes are not too bloodshot, exhausted, right, when we show up. But you mentioned something, this process of maturity, right? So our Next Gen ministry wants to walk alongside parents, and sometimes there's hesitance to send someone to camp, and they've had some issues. And it's our desire to help parents walk through that. If the student is ready or kid is ready, absolutely. And even if they're not quite there, we want to make sure that they get there. And part of that maturing process, it takes a village, right? It takes a faith family to help raise our kids.
Right. That's why I love the FBK leaders with students and kids, because when they are there at camp, they're all in.
Absolutely.
They're there to work hard, and I know our kids and student leaders, they give it their all when they're at camp. It takes a lot to get through the week, but we treat them like they're our own kids. So I'm like their mom at camp, but I love them in a way that is a little tough love, but I also push them to the next level. So and encourage them so they know they can get to the other side of camp.
Right.
They can make it.
It's a short amount of time.
Yeah.
We want them to experience all that camp has, including that maturing part. So I want to transition here from the camp conversation and look at Vacation Bible School through the lens of, okay, we do camp early.
Yeah.
Vacation Bible School comes later. But throughout the whole summer, this summer's been unique. It's the first time back for Vacation Bible School, right? We were out last year, kind of to break some joints that had frozen up a little bit and lubricate those a little bit, get moving.
It felt like it had been 10 years since we had Vacation Bible School.
We're just doing Vacation Bible School for the first time. But God did some cool stuff.
He did.
And I was so excited to see their smiling faces when the kids showed up.
Well, God did some cool stuff by pushing our leaders and having them step in, and when they hadn't been back in full throttle like that, they were in it to win it. So they were excited to do Vacation Bible School, from our decorating to like what can I do to make this a better learning environment for the kids that walk through that door. So, and then the opportunity to bring kids in from our community and bring them to our building through our van drivers who went out every night to get kids. So that was also a growing time for us as leaders, because we bring in kids that aren't used to being in church, are used to being in a structured environment sometimes. And what I noticed this time with Vacation Bible School is our kids are hurting. Because of what we went through last year with COVID and schools being closed, and I could tell that they needed to be poured into. And that's my heart desire, where kids are missing the love maybe in the home, out in our community, that they were able to be with us for a week, and we were able to pour into them as much as we possibly could during the week. And we saw, I know you had one kid from the trails who was gave his life to Christ during Vacation Bible School. So, and then we also had 5 kids give their self to Christ also. So that's why we do what we do.
Right.
To share the gospel and for Jesus to move that week and to transform kids right before our eyes.
So a lot of people ask, I know they probably asked you this, they've asked me this over the years in ministry, what carries you through a busy summer? Like, how do you make it from the end of May, right, to the end of August, when kids are back in school and the fall kicks off and things kind of settle down? There's a cycle to our ministry here, especially in the Next Gen ministry realm, where we're busy during the year, loving families, leading them, maybe not as hands-on as we will in the summer. We go full-on hands-on in the summer.
Absolutely.
And then we get a little bit of some people say it's a little bit of a rest, but they always ask me, how do you do it? Like, what drives you? And what you just said, this is why we do what we do. We're motivated by the truth that Jesus loves us, and we want to share that love with people. There's only so far that my time with someone is going to carry them, but if I point them to Christ, not to myself, not to another leader, but if I point them to Jesus, and we use a tool like Vacation Bible School or a camp or a special get-together, we're throwing the Frisbee around, or we're meeting at the park like we're going to do in a couple weeks. What is that? What is it that drives you? I know it drives me.
Well, I guess what drives me with my job is that I didn't have what our kids have here. I didn't grow up in church. I wasn't saved until I was 25, and I came from a broken home. So my drive, or my fire, comes from the Lord, because he gets me up every day to come here and do what I'm supposed to do for his glory. That's why I took this job, to glorify him. And then also, the more I do it, the more I want to be with children who come from broken homes or are hurting or need to know that Jesus loves you in the midst of all this mess that you may be going through. So I think my desire, my why, is because I want to give kids, or be the vessel for kids to see who Jesus is now, not when you're in your 20s or 30s.
Right.
I want them to see who he is, learn who he is, grow and walk with him now, and not have to be without him through their teen years or through their college years. That's why it's so urgent for kids that are in elementary school to learn who he is so that we can help walk alongside them.
It's exhausting work, but it's so rewarding.
It is something that I can't explain. I can't put into words when a child accepts Christ and I get to see them get baptized and I may have played a small part in their lives and just talking to them on who Jesus is. So, I mean, that sounds a little weird, but I just think about, like, you know, when we do get to eternity with Jesus, that I'll get to be with all those kids one day and we'll just know who each other is already. So it's just exciting to play a part of that and walk alongside parents and be excited when their child accepts Christ and congratulate them on their hard work of what they've been doing as parents.
Right.
So I just love that.
There's definitely a heartbeat here at FBK, and since I've been here, we love the next generation. A lot of work has gone in, both into how we do things on a Sunday, but also facility use, the way we plan things. We really want to be a resource to families, not necessarily the experts, but a resource to them, point them in places where they can find some help. Maybe we can encourage them along the way, share the gospel with them, help them point their kids and their families to Christ. As we get ready to launch back into this fall, we have some really exciting things, but we have a lot of things going on. So I just wanted to put this out there. If you're watching this and you would say, I'm really looking for a place to plug in. I really have something I want to give. I want to serve somewhere. Between the kids and the student ministry at either of our campuses, whether you're watching, the immense need that there is for folks to give some time and to share the gospel with kids and students is extremely, extremely important and needed. So if you're watching this and you're wondering about where you can serve, looking for a place to serve, let us know. Send us an email, Patrick or Stephanie at FBC Kettering, Daryl or David or Josh at eastmont.church. They'd be happy to chat with you about where you can plug in. We're really looking forward to this fall. I know our Next Gen ministry is getting ready for some really cool stuff. By the way, if you're one of our Next Gen ministry leaders, coming on August the 7th, we're going to have our Next Gen conference. We're going to talk through how we're going to launch back into this fall this year. Really excited to see some growth, see some kids and students trust Christ, and see some families join us in that ministry. So don't miss out on that. You can register for that on our website, fbckettering.org/events. We'd love to have you for that. There's a ton of information there and ways you can plug in the ministry as well. So don't miss out on that. Stephanie, thank you so much for joining me today for this time on the recap. Hey, listen, the recap exists to help us be transformed by Jesus. We look forward to seeing you back on campus, either for worship, either online or on campus. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let's go out and be the church. Have a great day.